Hello, world, and welcome to another fantastic show of No Brainer. It's your hostess with the mostest, Big Daddy, and my compadre, my brohim, my one and only co-host, D-Rec. What's up,
What's
Derek?
up? What's up, Brohim?
Although I truly have my true co-host right here.
Oh,
We got
that
LA.
is
We got
so
LA in the house tonight, and we have a very, very special guest, all the way from Arizona. And I always say the town you're in wrong. She corrects me because I call it Lynchfield, but it's Litchfield.
Lich.
She's like, ain't nobody getting hung. It's not
You
Lynchfield.
call it Lynchfield, dude? You have problems.
It's an amazing place. I had such a blast when we came out for your daughter's wedding. We had such a good time. But this
Was that why? That's why you guys went to Arizona
Yes.
last year? I gotcha.
yes, we went to see Jen. And so this is not only family, this is a phenomenal entrepreneur, and we're going to dive into it. Guys, I think you have an amazing show ahead of you tonight. So put on your seatbelts and hold on as we go down the no-brainer rabbit hole. Welcome, Ginny.
Thank you for having me.
All right, there we go.
No, that was actually really good. I think there's tastefully placed.
It's better when you talk and I.
Oh, you
All right,
stop
never
it.
mind. Sorry, I'll just stop. So Ginny, let's start. Obviously, I've known you for only 11, 12, 14 years. 14 years. We've been married 14 years. I had to think for a minute. But my beloved has known you for, I won't say how old she is, but a long time.
Her whole life.
Yep, her whole
So
life.
I'm sure you could tell us some good dirt on this one when you guys were youngsters. But you and was your sister who owned the coffee shop with Lorianne, correct?
Yes.
You
My
were
sister,
involved.
not me.
Right.
Kathy.
Okay. Did you do anything as entrepreneurial with them?
Can you
I'm
stop?
asking the question.
Just
Okay.
stop.
Go ahead. It's
Ginny,
a female show
so
tonight, guys. We're just going to sit back.
Start with, you were a teacher.
Yes. So out of college, I was an elementary ed teacher. I taught first grade, second grade, and then kindergarten, and became a mom. Every baby I had, I took a year off, and I married my high school sweetheart, and we had 3 babies, and he's an amazing dad. But I woke up one day and was like a withering flower. I probably would have created an illness and died. I woke up and thought, I can't live this life. Like it isn't me. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for my kids. And I divorced my ex-husband, whom were best friends. We co-parented our amazing 3 kids together. But and then I started a crazy catering business, and that was a fluke. It started by a fluke, and it kept growing and growing and growing to this beast of 65 employees, a crazy business partner. And we catered the Super Bowl on 2 occasions for 3 weeks.
This is all in Arizona?
All in Arizona.
Okay.
And it started by a fluke. I was in a yoga class, and I was going through a divorce, and I saw one of my mom's friends, and she said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And I had a friend that loved to cook, and we had thought about opening up a breakfast lunch bistro called Sunny Side Up. We had the name, all of the things. And this individual said, I'm throwing a 50th birthday party for one of my friends. Do you cater? And my friend at the time was in her first semester of culinary school. And I called her and I said, hey, can you do this? And we did it. And we made zero money because we knew nothing about pricing. We knew nothing about food cost, but she was a damn good chef. And I was a people person, and my cell phone kept ringing after that.
That's
so
cool.
We thought, oh, we better take this seriously.
So we do now.
Yeah. So I hustled, figured out what we needed to do to get licensed, bought a commercial refrigerator freezer for a church. We did all the church's catering, and we got licensed, and it just kept growing. So
I don't like the word fluke because I maybe mistake, but it looks like 12 years is no fluke, right? It's pretty serious.
No, it isn't. But it was at the time, we didn't know.
Sure.
Like it was like we just kept moving, and it was like our motto was, I'd book it, she'd cook it. And so I helped her cook, and then we kept growing and kept growing. And
What was your specialty?
we did a lot of high-end weddings. So one of our wedding menus was the beef brisket with the honey mopping sauce and the chicken marsala. Those were two of the most popular dishes for weddings. But then then we just started doing really high-end cocktail parties. I mean, budgets for the railroad would be like $350,000 for one event.
Wow.
And that was back in the, early 2000s.
Yeah, so almost double that now, right?
Yeah, it just kept growing and growing, and it became this beast.
Any like big name like celebs or like people that you knew, when you did these, or was it just corporate money?
Oh, no. So when we did the Super Bowl, we did the red carpet. So Ryan Seacrest, Miranda Lambert.
Wow.
Gosh, who else? A lot of the football players, Lenny Kravitz, Alicia Keys.
Like all A-listers back then, and still today pretty much.
Willie Nelson, he wouldn't bring his tour bus on site. We had to go off site. We'll just leave it at that. But there were reasons why we couldn't bring it on site, and I've never seen so many.
Where's the weed sound effect?
Well, there was a lot more than just the green stuff on the bus. We'll just put it that way.
When I lived in Texas, I used to tour with rock bands, and we did a couple Willie Nelson shows, and everybody used to joke, "Don't go on Willie's bus because if you have to take a drug test, you will not pass."
No, probably not.
The contact high was incredible. So, who was in the Super Bowl? That was at the Sun Dome, right?
Yeah, I knew it was at the Cardinal Stadium. It wasn't at the Sun. It was at the Cardinal Stadium.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't at the Sun. Okay.
No.
Was it the year the St. Louis?
You could. I couldn't tell you. Who
It was 2009. No, it was not. That was Raymond James. I'm trying to find it.
James is Tampa.
So, we were featured in the Wall Street Journal. They did a whole feature on us, and it just was. I look back at that time, and it doesn't even feel like that was kind of my life, because I was working so hard and so fast that I was there physically for all of my children's things. But mentally, I have 12 years of my life that I was completely checked out. I do not recommend doing what I did.
Right.
So it was not a life. I would never want to go back to that life in a million gazillion years. Plus, there was a lot of other yuck stuff going on in my life with domestic violence and a horrible partner. And yeah, it was just a lot, and it owned me. And I woke up one day and said, I'm not doing that. Lawsuits were going on, and I had a year-long lawsuit with my ex-business partner, and I woke up one day and said, I'm not doing this anymore. I reinvented myself one time this lifetime. I can do it again. I always wanted to do real estate. I love real estate.
Right.
And I've never looked back. It was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life.
So when you got into real estate, you went and obviously worked for somebody till you got your broker license?
I don't even have my broker's license. I'm just an agent. I'm not a broker.
Do you have a broker at your store?
Yeah, I hang my license at a brokerage called W and Partners. It's the firm I'm with, but I just hang my license and my team hangs their license. So, I have my own team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Down here, if like you run your own shop, you got to be a broker. I guess
I have no desire to do that. No, God, no.
Oh, Central Florida Realty, no.
No way. The liability and no. Not
so
my
did you grow up in Arizona?
Yep.
Okay, so you didn't live in Iowa at all with LA?
No, well, we had farms there. So I was born in Omaha. We moved out here when I was 8, and then we'd go back every summer to the farms. But no, I've never lived there in Iowa.
That was on the
side.
Oh,
it says your dad bought cattle, right? He came in. You lived in the Mid, or he lived in the Midwest. Your dad and mom did.
We did, and then we moved out here. My dad. This is a crazy story. So my cousin on my dad's side is Ted Waite, who was the founder of Gateway 2000, the computer. Yeah. So he actually went to my dad, who he wanted to drop out of his college his freshman year, and wanted to borrow $10,000 to start a mail order computer company. And my dad told him he was crazy. You need to go to your dad. And he went to his dad, and his dad said, no way. And then he went to his grandmother or grandmother, and she gave him $10,000. And he and his best friend dropped out of college and started it in our barn in Iowa. So, and that's where Lorianne and Kathy, LA.
I was gonna say, which is
Is that why the boxes were all the cow skin?
Yep.
Yep.
Because
No way, because like
cattle.
that was the computer like in the late '90s, before Dell really blew up. Like I think we had 2 or 3 of them. The Gateway 2000, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
That
the
was
one thing I loved about Gateway, and I don't know if your uncle was, the brainchild for this, was when you called, how they talked to you, like it was like talking to your next door neighbor, like, you literally were calling South Dakota, and it was like they
No,
actually.
it wasn't my uncle, it was my cousin.
Right, but the call center was in Iowa, where you had
Was it in South Dakota?
Yeah.
North Sioux City, South Dakota, but right there.
Right, because they say you're calling South Dakota. So.
But the whole thing with Ginny being a Waite on her dad's side. So you've got Ted Waite starting Gateway Computers. You got Ginny, this amazing entrepreneur. Then you have the brother Norm with his production company, Gold Ring Productions, who did his first movie was My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He's done a ton of things like that.
Perfect, Amelia Earhart,
Right.
like so many
movies. So like just your dad and Uncle Norm raising these kids to be amazing entrepreneurs.
And then you had on your mom's side,
but all
your grandfather was an entrepreneur.
I mean, we were surrounded by. I mean, Kathy and I owning the business. We were raised by amazing entrepreneurs who encouraged that in all of us.
Well, your grandpa he started the Megaplex,
right?
Yeah.
Well, no, he had 2, and then my uncle and dad grew it into the Megaplex.
Well, that's what I mean. But Hoke Motors.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I didn't grow up with all that around me.
Toyota.
Yeah.
You get to do a commercial.
You can do a commercial.
Yeah.
We're sponsored today in part by Hoke Motors. But I know you're stalking Derek. So what do you got? What kind of questions you got? I see him stalking.
I know. I'm like, what is he going to ask?
Well, no, I wanted to ask. So you leave the catering, you go into real estate. Did you have any idea that one day you'd be sitting here with all these women underneath you, like mentoring?
No. In fact, I had no desire to have a team, run another business other than my own. And so I started on a team, and I literally, it was one of my board members. I was on the board of New Life Center. It's a second largest domestic violence shelter in the nation. And I was on the board. I was on for almost 9 years, was past president for 2 years. And one of my board members and I are good friends. And she kept bugging me, you need to get your real estate license. I had no desire. And even when I sold one of my properties, it was a husband and wife team. And they're like, oh my God, you would make such a good agent. Have you ever thought about being an agent? And I'm like, maybe one day, but and yeah. So anyways, I was like, maybe one day. And when I decided I was going to fire my attorney and quit the lawsuit, be done, I said, I'm going to go to real estate school. I did the crash course 2.5 weeks. So I was in class all day, and I would go and follow the agents at the brokerage that I was going to join when I was done or on my breaks, so I could learn as much as I could learn as quickly as possible. Okay. I had my first house under contract before I was even licensed. It was under another agent. The day I got licensed, I got my first check.
Wow.
So I sold 14 houses in 6 months because I was at it. I had met Chris, my husband now, at that time, but I was so independent and almost independent to a fault. Looking back now, I mean, I know there are no accidents. I believe in the divine. So I know God led me to where I am today, but I wouldn't take any assistance from him. And I mean, I was selling jewelry just to buy groceries for my kids, just to hustle to get paid so that I didn't have to depend on anybody. And I hit the ground running, and I just fell in love with this industry. But I didn't want a team. I was just going
to say, so how did you end up?
So I'm going to tell you. So I was at that brokerage for a year, realized I didn't really learn anything from that team. And I could do this on my own. I loved them, but I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't
Right.
feel like I needed, it was a Remax franchise, and I'm not slamming Remax. They're a great franchise, a great brokerage, but I don't think you need that name. People go with the person, they don't go with the name.
100.
So I left, and I was at this large brokerage, and the broker kept, because I, asked questions in meetings and share, and she was like, do you like to train? She said, I know you were a teacher. And my husband traveled all over the world for work. He still does. And I love to travel too, but I couldn't open up doors when I was gone for clients. So I started training, and I called them my baby agents. I started training them. So when I traveled, they could open up doors for me and help my buyers. So I would split the deal with them. Well, one day I hired a coach. His name's Jeff Seabach, and he is a badass. He uses the F-bombs left and right. He is not kosher. In fact, my broker said, you are not going to like him. He is not your style, but I loved him because if it walked like a duck and talked like a duck, he called it a duck. And that's what you need. If you have a coach, you need to be called out on your stuff, and you need to put things in play and in action. So he said to me, I laid out my business for him and told him everything I'm doing. And he said, okay, let's break down your hourly rate. And so we broke down my hourly rate. And he said, what are you doing? You're giving so much of your knowledge away and getting nothing in return.
Right.
But I thought I needed the brick and mortar of an office and a building, because the last brokerage I was at, she wanted me to open up a Remax here in Litchfield in the park. She was like, I want you to, and the thought of owning a building again, because I bought a building when I had the catering company, owning a building or renting, and I didn't want that. I wanted to just stay in my own box at home, talk to my clients, and do my thing. So then he broke down my hourly rate, and I thought, whew, I'm losing some money by giving it away and not taking anything in return. And that's where my team began. But I still don't rent an office. I don't rent from our brokerage. A lot of times I office from, I don't know if you guys can see, I'm in my casita right now. There's my yoga picture. And then, this TV's going in our bedroom, but I have like a Murphy bed. So it's almost kind of like a hotel room, but it's my office and yoga studio. So we office from here, and we all sit around my dining room table or the conference table at our brokerage, or we Zoom. So, I'm in constant contact with my agents via text, phone calls, but I don't have to go into an office other than my home.
Do you see yourself going outside of Arizona at all, or are you staying?
I'm actually thinking about getting licensed in California, because I am really hoping Chandler gets his feet wet and gets licensed, because I want someone to take this over one day. I don't see myself going at this speed for the next maybe 10 years. I'll always have my feet wet.
Now, how is that going to work, that you built this women's group? And
then they all know that if any male comes on board, it will be like
Bosley in the group.
It will be my
your
son.
Angels. He's going to be Bosley.
He'll be Bosley, and they'll be the Angels. So
our dog's name is Bosley, so that's why I said our dog. I know who she meant though. Yeah. So you only mentor and work with females?
Yes. Yeah, and that is, so I'm in the process of writing a book, and I came from domestic violence, not only as a child, but in my relationship between my children's father and my husband now. But I didn't think it was domestic violence because I was not hit. I did not have the bruises.
Right.
And I was actually the president of the board at the time, and they were interviewing me. I was a keynote speaker for a luncheon for 1,200, and they were interviewing me to help write my speech. And I lost my cookies. I literally lost it in this Wildflower bread company. I don't know if you guys have one of those wherever you are, but it's like a Panera, one of those places. They were interviewing me, and it was like, holy shit,
That's me.
that is me. This is just like my dad. Like what I literally freaked out. I had to stop the interview. And I mean, I was sobbing and I said, I have to go. And I went and packed my stuff and my kids' clothes as much as I could gather. And I left and I never looked back. I called it my healing house. It was a little house. And so I'm writing my story on how I reinvented myself 2 times this lifetime, and that anybody can with the support of other individuals. So I have my first healing house. I want 16 of them. And I've surrounded myself with some incredible individuals. They're called my affinity partners. So I have like a yoga trauma therapist, a financial advisor, someone that does feng shui, life coach, financial planning, a lender. And we're launching this to help women start again. And I have my website. It's not built out yet, but it's called renaissancewoman.love. And it's all based around love and your heart center, and that getting these women to feel good about themselves again, and that they can do anything if they have that belief within themselves and from God or whatever higher power they want to say.
Right. Well,
So-
it's funny because Lorianne has a very similar heart. When we first got together, we've talked. It was still probably, I don't know that it's ever been scrapped, but it was on the planning table. We wanted to build a place called the Ark, which was a shelter from everyday storm, and find battered women with their children who needed just a break to get back on their feet and help them and
breath.
maybe train them in a trade or something and just be able to say, all right, you've been here for 6 months. Let's time to move on. We've protected you. It's time to, and hopefully they can get back out and be on their feet making money and be able to start over again. And they don't necessarily, I don't think we ever said they had to be battered, but they could have been just homeless or
No, we
just
were also talking
Anything.
about
So mine is divorce, domestic violence, or just starting again. Sometimes situations happen,
right.
and to give them that time to breathe and to feel safe or whatever it is. I mean, that's what's so important to me.
Yeah, I was looking at pregnant girls as well,
Yep.
who think they don't have any other options.
Yep, that would be amazing. You guys should definitely.
But I will say we had one that came into our life and it was kind of heartbreaking because we bent over backwards, did a lot and got her out of here because she was getting, for lack of better terms, passed around the house for rent.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she came back and was.
I'm sure dealing with domestic violence. Sometimes you can take them out, but they go back.
Yeah, she came back.
It is. It's a vicious cycle, and it's all about breaking that cycle. And it's so difficult. It just, and they're scared and weak, and they prey on them. I mean, it's they're narcissists, manipulative. I mean, you name it. I mean, look. I mean, I look back and I still can't believe that was my life, and I was the president of the board. And it's pretty crazy.
What's really crazy, and I know your husband, and I've met him several times, and he's an amazing guy. When you find the right one, you have the ability that if something does go sideways, like Lorianne and I, we have our differences every once in a while, but she has no problem knowing that she can tell me I'm being stupid or I'm being dumb. So stop it, and I'll stop. It's not like she fears that I'm going to lose my mind or say things. I realize you're right. I stepped over the line. Where in other relationships, I've seen people, they thrive on it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. I want my wife, was, as I hope every guy, Derek can probably attest to it too. I want our spouses to be super happy and fun and always be able to say anything they want to us and not worry or live in fear that they're going to get battered, belittled. Because like you said, domestic violence does not have to be getting punched. It's a mental punch. Mental punch, I think, is worse than a physical.
It is. So I have a client right now, and she has never worked outside of the home. They have more money than I don't even know what, I mean, so much money. But statistics show that 86% that leave literally go through that money in 3 years because
Yeah.
they don't have the resources to handle or know how to sustain. And I want to be able to show them that they can create generational wealth through real estate.
Yes.
I mean, it is so possible.
Well,
And
you should be proud of your younger cousin. I don't know if you heard, she took the real
I
estate exam.
did hear that.
Scored 100 on it. I mean, it's unheard of. But
yeah,
I told her, I said, you go move to Arizona. You'd have a killer gig. But she's got an amazing fiance,
yes.
soon
Yeah,
to be
he's great.
beloved. But he's a firefighter and he's not leaving where he loves his job.
No, he wouldn't want to come to this heat. Well, you guys have heat there too, but it's just different.
It's disgusting.
Right
I
now.
know.
Right now is very, very bad. It's gross.
Yeah.
Derek, what are you thinking? I see you over there. You're reading.
I know he's reading all kinds of stuff. I don't know what he's reading, but
He is our stalker. He is our reporter. He finds all the good stuff.
Yeah, I was just reading the Bible there, so I completely missed everything we just said.
Okay.
In Dumb and Dumber, where whoever Jeff Daniels' character is, and he's talking about breaking up with a girl who said he didn't listen, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really know it. I don't really whatever else she said. I really wasn't."
That was actually not. It wasn't Jeff Daniels. It was Harry. No, Harry's Jeff Daniels. It was
Correct.
Lloyd. It was
Stop while I'm ahead.
there they go.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
so just to go back to your story, like I started to get a little lost just because I know you work with like women in business networking, right? That's Theodora's circle, and then I know you work with New Life Center. But are we talking here completely another, like a different, like? Are you talking New Life Center? Or are you talking like a new center that you've begun, even stemming from that?
Yeah, it's not even a center. I am so my broker and her husband who own the brokerage, they have several rentals, and we are starting a nonprofit called the Giving Casa, and the Renaissance Woman will be an arm of that, and they are donating the first house to that. So that's where we are, where it's going to be. So it's not going to be New Life. It's literally a separate entity, a 501c3, where I want to create healing houses for women to where they can, and it won't be several rooms. Like if it's a single woman, she'll have the house to herself, or a family, to where we can provide the resources to get them to that next step, whatever that next step is, or if it's a new job or whatever resources, that's what this will be about.
So is the healing house more of a foster system where it's an interim period where this all happens, or do the healing houses just build on each other based on your foundation's intake, and then involve these women in real estate, as you were talking about? How does it, how are, because I know you're going to want to do more than one, right? Like you said, or just one?
So no, I want 16.
Okay.
Here in Arizona, and then hopefully maybe national. I don't know. It depends. My book, I'm working on the book right now, and speaking engagements. It's all unfolding so faster than I can even keep up.
How do you journal all this?
It's like a freight train. I dream about it at night, and I get things come to me through dreams, and I get visions, and I mean, I literally, God's speaking to me. It's just happening so fast. And I turn around, and I was introduced to an individual, and I was looking for this is a crazy story. So I was looking for the wealth management piece, financial advisor.
Right.
And my photographer that does my branding for the team and headshots and all the things reached out to me, and she said, Ginny, I need a couple that is over 50 for a photo shoot. She said, the crazy thing is you have to, the pictures are going to be for some ads for individuals going through a divorce and staying out of the courts and the whole thing. So Chris and I, of course, agree, because I love Sarah. my photographer. And so we go there, and this individual that the photo shoot is for a woman who's a financial advisor and does wealth management. And she's working with the courts to keep the husband and wife out of the courts and into mediation, and then assisting with the wealth management. And I mean, that's a God thing, because I couldn't have even made that up or created that.
Right.
And it was just dropped into my lap. And this is what's happening to me on a daily basis. So I'm not quite sure what the big picture is going to look like. I mean, I know what I kind of want it to look like, but it's even grander than what I can envision when I just let him take the lead.
Well, if you want to open some here in Florida, I know two lovely females who'd run it for you.
Okay.
Especially since one of them just graduated with her psychology degree.
Yeah.
You know, the joke in our house is, though, the reason she took psychology is because she is the craziest out of all of us. So.
She's a sweetie.
Yes, Jana. Yes.
This is like what we were talking about yesterday, Zach, about, you know, having so many things going on where you have like a high level of inspiration, and then at the same time you're like, okay, how do I, you know, devote myself to each of these disciplines in a focused manner time to time? And I think you have to have the exact right people around you, just to keep everything sorted and in order. And I, you know, Zach had a couple things where he was doing a couple things work wise and the show and all that. And I go, one of them's going to suffer. So you're just going to have to back off a podcast. Or he's like, no, I can do it all. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you do it all with these two businesses and life insurance. And I go, honestly, with the one business struggling, I backed off the active, the active part of life insurance and did that. Like I had to kind of drop the focus on one of those to, you know, build a couple things in the other ones. And it's like, you know, hearing you talk seems like you got a lot going on. I've kept these journals here for since 2016. I've filled up multiple books where that's just like a weekly. Those aren't work things. Those aren't calendar things. Those are personal things every day. And it's like, man, those pages are full every single week, no matter what. And I mean, if I didn't have that, there's no way life wouldn't even happen. I wouldn't even, like, I'd forget to brush my teeth. It would just be that crazy. So it seems like all the stuff you're developing really is going to be very dependent on interdependence. You know, the term where you're not dependent or independent, but it's like the right people, the right pieces, the right puzzles have to create the skeleton and the structure to help drive it forward.
You have to. And I don't know if you guys read a lot, but I'm a reader. And one of an amazing book that I read years ago and I go back to is Good to Great. I don't know if you've read that
Jim
book.
Collins.
But it's all about
right.
Jim Collins. It's all about having the right people on the bus. And I keep reminding myself that it's my bus and it's my vision. And you have to align with the right individuals. And when you don't align, things don't go as smoothly. So I'm really good at identifying. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't align with, where I'm going.
Are you good at putting them in the right seat?
I am good. It took some time.
Because it's not just the bus. It's the right people on the bus in the right seat.
And that's what I was getting to next. It's the right seat. And it's interesting because when things aren't aligning, people just kind of fall to the wayside naturally. It just happens. It just happens. And also how you were saying about journaling. I mean, if I didn't have my daily practice, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Are you we talked about this 2 weeks ago, Zach, with Gina about morning routines. You know, she had a book that she read, but it was the exact same concept as the one I had, the Miracle Morning. Right? And then who was the author with that? Zach? Rich?
My pal
Hal. Is that kind of what you do, Ginny? Do you?
I have
meditate, affirm, and yeah.
I have meditation. Well, first of all, I set my intention for the day before I get out of bed, whatever that is. whatever I want that to be. And then I have my morning routine with my pups, and then my meditation and prayer, because to me, meditation is allowing God to speak to me, and prayer is
Absolutely. That's
speaking
what
to
it
Him.
is.
Yeah.
Speaking to Him. So it's very important to me. And then I have a gratitude journal where I give thanks and grateful for whatever it is that day. And then in the evening, and then of course I have some form of exercise, whether it's my Peloton, I have a trainer and I do strength training or yoga, moving my body of some sort. And then in the evening, I call it brain dump, because if I don't brain dump before I go to bed, then I have crazy dreams. And it's the time for me to have that peace. And then I have some sound kind of waves. They're different every evening, 12 minutes that I listen to while I fall asleep. And
Yes.
that's my routine.
Are those
And
kind of like the spa sounds that kind of help you get into dream? Yeah,
but
that works.
they also are toned. So it's all about how
The tones.
everything's energy.
I forget what they're called.
And it's crazy. And then I also saw something
I was a big believer in
the other day, because I had an agent that was struggling with some things, and what I had read, it basically said, everything is a frequency, everything is energy.
Yeah.
And if you look at a frequency uh, like a radio channel, you could choose a positive one or a negative one, and it's your choice, because the brain knows no different. The brain knows no different between positive and negative. So it's up to you to choose that positive channel. So for me, with my team, they're my family. I love my girls, and my favorite thing is to love on them and pour into them so that they can be the best version of themselves for their family, for their business, for their friends, whatever it is in life. So I'm not only, their mentor in real estate, but I believe I'm their mentor in life. So I just feel like that is my purpose.
That is that let me tell you, those tones. My friend is a big what's that what Daniel studies, Derek?
Who's your friend?
Daniel.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, Daniel. Okay, yeah.
What is it he studied? Neuroscience? No.
It probably has something to do with neuroscience.
It does, but he was telling, he's the one who got into tones years ago. I used to have little anxious bouts of anxiety and angst.
Yeah.
And you go on YouTube and you find these tones.
Yeah.
You have to wear your headphones. You have to get in the right mindset, and you put it on. And like I joked, like I said, my mind never stops. It doesn't. And I'll put it on and be like, holy cow, 20 minutes just went by and I didn't even have a thought go through my head. Like, how is that possible? So, I mean, I'm a firm believer. I like it. And I agree. I am working. I really want to start following the morning mindset where I get up at 5, and we have a daily routine every morning. I get up, drink my cup of coffee with the dogs, let them out, do their business, and then I read my devotions, and then I just get ready for the day. And I purposely have been leaving my work phone far away. And then around 8 o'clock, I'll go check it. And people will be like, dude, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I said, I don't talk to anybody before 8 o'clock. There's
You have people who call you before 8?
Oh, the office calls me at what time does it start ringing? 7? Yeah, they'll start blowing my phone up at 7 o'clock. And I'm like,
yeah, I would say you need to put a rule for what time is.
Yeah,
I won't answer my phone before 9.
If I have an install going sideways, they don't care. They're going to bother me at 6:30.
You have an install going sideways at 6:30 a.m.?
No, they don't usually hit until about 8:30, but still. They'll have questions. But yeah, and you know, I read Hal's book. I need to read it again. And there's other books, you know, I've read, and you're right, Derek. One of the things that I have a problem with, and Lorianne is my yin for my yang, as I like to say, is I put too many pokers in the fire, and I try and handle it at all. I need 8 arms. I need to be an octopus, and I can't.
Now, Ginny also has a lot of pokers in the fire, but
she does.
You seem to manage it well.
Yeah, well, I what I noticed, Zach, and I don't. This won't be an attack Zach session, I promise, because I struggle with this too. But what I noticed with you is like I don't think you're
What's my syndrome I have?
the shiny balls.
Shiny ball syndrome. Thank you.
Right,
It's
but let's
shiny object, but he for some reason messed up and called it shiny ball. So now
he
I have
chases shiny
syndrome.
balls. Yeah, sorry.
Shiny ball. All right.
Lorianne, you weren't supposed to ever know about that, but now you do. But what I think that you struggle with is being okay with that you're not great at everything, and you're actually really bad at some stuff and really great at some stuff. Same here,
Yeah.
but the cool thing, like with our show too, like I'm actually really terrible at things and then really good at other things, and like I think, and why I say that is I think you stress over the things that because you think like either you should be good at them or out of your control. It's like, no, you just need someone else to do that for you.
Well,
In all that
was
stress,
actually
like you would
one
like
of
the
my-
spreadsheets and the analytics and stuff
Oh.
and the technical, like you need help with that.
Oh, I hate that.
That's people that don't want to give that up. They're control freaks.
Well, that was
they're
my thing. I was going to
comfortable.
ask
I
you
think
next.
he
That
does
was
want to
hard.
give it up though, but
That
I just
was
think he
hard.
like
That
doesn't
was
get
hard.
it that someone else needs to do it.
Well,
Oh, God.
well, here,
When you
let
do-
me ask the question, Ginny. With all the pokers and everything you've got going on, as
Yes.
a boss,
Yes.
how hard is it for you to let go sometimes?
Sometimes it's very difficult. I'm getting I'm getting better and better the older I'm getting.
Right.
And then also choosing my peace. So making sure my social media person, giving like, if certain things aren't quite right, I don't even care anymore. Like I just am like, oh, they're doing their job the best of their ability. And
Right.
if some things aren't exact, I don't care anymore. I have a transaction coordinator that handles all my paperwork. I have the most amazing virtual assistant, and she handles so much for me that I couldn't function without her. And then, I have an assistant for work, but then I also have a personal assistant. Like I couldn't function my household without Tina. And so there are certain people in my life that help me make sure I have my peace.
Right.
We talked
And-
about
and
that.
one of the
This
things-
is not the first time we've talked about this,
All right.
Zach.
Well, so I've gotten good at it, and you got to admit, Derek, when we started this show, I had to hold on to the purse strings as tight as I could, and I realized I cannot edit, I cannot do all this stuff, and I let it go. I hired and one of the things I've done, I've hired 2 coaches actually, which are really leading me in the right direction. One is for podcasting because podcasting and voice acting are in my passions really. That I just want to do. Will we make money at it someday? I sure hope so. I sure would love for Derek to stop doing what he does and I do what I do, and we just interview and have fun all the time. But I had to realize at one point I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to be the technical guy. I am, for lack of better terms, I'm the mouthpiece, and that's pretty much what I need to be, and just stay in my lane. There are other things, unfortunately, that I find that I need to hold on to for dear life.
Well, I think that's why we had the conversation very early on, and we're like, well, what should we
That's
be
why
doing?
I did it after
And you were so amped with the podcast event. No offense, like I can be social as anyone for 4 hours, but guess what happens when I come home? I'm passing out for 12. That's something where extrovert stuff for me takes my energy. For you, it gives you energy.
Yeah.
So that's where we said, okay, you relate to people. You're good at sales. You like people. You have all these things where you're a people networking person. It makes total sense besides just the show lead for you to make the connections and get the guest scheduling. Now, There's going to be times like where I have the guest for next week, and that's fine because it's the right time to plug them in. But that's not my thing. My thing is research guests, engage guests, and do the technical. Of course, we get our stuff uploaded and edited, but I'm sitting there making sure the video's optimized, the right volume, keywords, blah, blah, blah. That's my role. And even when you have those roles, back to Ginny here, and like you said, your social media person, when you have that entrepreneurial control, not only giving it up, but like, how do you now get the energy to empower that person to where they actually are pretty much as good as what you did ownership, or what you think is good. Sorry, good subjective, but we all think our way is the best, right? And then we let control. We're like, they're not doing this, that, and that. I probably said it 18 times to you on different things today, Zach. But like, how do you get it to where that social media person's so empowered that they actually know what you want to see, and they mix that with their technical expertise to produce the result, right? That, I wish someone could just put a wand on my head or anyone's head and say, I grant you this power to just be naturally capable at empowering every person to be the best them and find the exact seat and just kill it. Because it's like, well, that's what scaling is, you know?
It is. I know.
So
It's
when
so
you hire-
hard.
Ginny,
It
when
is,
you
and in real
hire,
estate, so there are different, there's like a table, there's a triangle, or there's a knowledge-based. Well, I run a knowledge-based team, so I'm it. So, but I don't want to have a table to where I have just buyers agents, sellers agents, admins, and it runs like a machine, because that's not in my heart. That's not who I am. So to scale what I have is more difficult. However, if you have systems in place, so like my team, a couple of my agents are going to start teams under me eventually, and that's where we're going to go. And that's okay, because that's what works for me. And I'm not out there with buyers all the time. I'm mainly a listing agent, unless they're good friends. I pass it off to one of my agents, and then I get a percentage from them.
Well, that still is a systemic machine. It's just qualitative rather than quantitative for you.
It is.
Right.
Correct.
when you hire, when you interview,
Oh,
and you know exactly what you want them to do because you've been doing it, or maybe you realized, like when I got an editor, I don't know what I'm doing, so I need
yes.
to talk. Like, do you go through multiple people, or you find the one that clicks with you and you go, all right, I can mold this person?
So I usually, when I am going to hire again, I usually interview about 5, and I only hire usually 1.
Right.
And it's just, that's just because, so they interview with me first, then they interview with me and my assistant, and then they interview with the team. And collaboration and the synergy and the energy is really important to me. And if something is off with one of the agents, then it's a no, because it has to be that right fit.
The team has to mesh.
Yes, it has to mesh. So, and some of my younger agents maybe don't have as much weight in say, but if something feels uncomfortable or off for them, I need to listen to that, because we, excuse me, we are like a family. I do a lot of team events and local events, community events, where we, husbands come, kids, and we throw a big Santa in the Park party every Christmas for the entire community. And we do an Easter in the park, and we rent out a movie theater and invite all of our clients to come with their kids. And I mean, we're constantly kind of throwing parties, because that's what we do. And that's how we love on our clients and show them appreciation.
Okay. Well, all right. Now let's. I mean, that's.
Is that response acceptable for you, Zach? I mean,
No, I got someone distracted me. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Zach just fired you for the past 2 minutes.
No, my mind went.
It's
the middle of what you're talking about. The middle
And-
you're talking
and so?
about,
We've got a dog under the table.
and he's snoring.
And above the table over there with the white hat.
Yes. But no, the other thing that I found funny, you're talking about all these great things, right? And then it clicks in my mind, and the goofy TikTok videos.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Who makes the goofy TikTok videos?
Oh,
we do
you must
some.
not have stalked well enough.
not stalked
Derek,
well enough,
because you
Derek.
would have seen the
Yeah.
fun
I don't
videos
go
you
on.
make.
I do not stalk people's socials except their Facebook because I hate TikTok.
He does.
Yeah.
He's not
So
a social.
Oh, I hate that thing.
I don't do a lot of TikTok. We're mainly on Instagram.
Or maybe it's all
I
right.
like the
Instagram. Maybe it's
gram
TikTok wrong. Yeah.
for
So-
biz.
Instagram is where you're going to find most of our things, and then we pull it over to TikTok sometimes.
Right.
But Instagram is our main, and then some of the stuff gets pulled onto our business page. I mean, we only have, I don't even know how many followers on Facebook. Instagram, we get a ton of hits on stuff, but we probably have just right under 2,000. But then I get a lot of hits on my group, Live Love Litchfield, because I have 17,000 followers on that page.
Now, is that strictly for your real estate?
Live Love Litchfield?
Yes.
I started Live Love Litchfield for our community, for people that are moving to the community to find out where the best doctor is or the best pizza place, or and then it became this, I don't even know, animal to where I can't even control. I had to get 2 admins to kind of run the page, and then it became spammers with these crazy businesses and trying to. So now we don't even let businesses post on that page. So I had to start a business directory that it's become this animal that is just insane. And it even got shut down. And then I'm like, why did I even get that page back? But I knew somebody that worked for Facebook that knew somebody in Meta. And then it was like 6 months to get this page back. And now I'm like, why did I do that?
It's Zuckerbot's fault.
Zuckerbot.
It's crazy.
I like social media. Like I try so hard, usually successfully, to use it for business exact function and get the heck off immediately.
Yeah.
It's a weird, selfish thought process to keep yourself sane, to say, I don't want to see what anyone's doing, which sounds really kind of like counter mental. But to me, it's the opposite, because it's always a highlight reel, right? And then you just sit there scrolling highlight reels, and you're like, okay, so today our shop did not do the sales I expected us to do. If I'm sitting in that little cloud of, mad or whatever, pouting cloud, and then I'm just doing a highlight reel, it's like this. It's like hands coming in on your head, squeezing your brain together. And I mean, it's fantastic for event stuff or awareness stuff or demonstration stuff. It's fantastic, but when you get lost in it, it's like, this is counterproductive to what we're supposed to do in our lives, with real people, with real events, with real things, with the real, like, it's just, it drives me nuts. I want to somehow figure out a way so bad for these things to be like totally put in their own little tiny box of our lives, and that's all they're allowed to penetrate. Just use them for what they're for and get off.
Yeah.
So Ginny, I know we have a short amount of time with you tonight, because I know you have to go show houses, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. Well,
and I normally don't do that, but yeah, this is a friend's son. I'm into the realm of helping my good friends' children, which that is very exciting. I got one of my best friends from college, and she was in mine and David's wedding. Her son and his girlfriend a house, bought a new build last week. They closed. Dalton actually closed on a home, my nephew, today in Kansas, and I referred the agent.
Dr. Dalton.
So he closed. And then my oldest and her husband are going to be closing on their first home on the 30th of June. So, wow. And this is another young couple. So that's kind of the realm I'm in right now.
So a quick couple fire round questions. I'm a male or female, it doesn't matter. I'm looking to get into real estate.
You're a them?
No.
Oh, I got you. We're scenario. Okay, go for it.
They, them would like to get into real estate.
Yeah.
What's your advice? Is it such a volatile market? It's scary. So let me hindsight the question real quick. I almost got into real estate many, many years ago. I interviewed with a guy. It was a Husky Realty, which was a big name here in Central Florida. That he's since Budge was the owner. Budge Husky died, but he He was a really, really great guy. And he sat me down and said, I would hire you right now. And I know you'd be my top agent. Do you have 3 months of salary saved up? I don't. Okay, go find another job, because you'll never survive. And I can't do that. I can't do that to you. So all the kids down here want to get in. Everybody wants to get in real estate. Everybody thinks it's, oh my gosh, the market's blowing up. I'm going to make millions of dollars. Give us the dirt.
So I pretty much that same advice. If you do not have a second income, a spouse or somebody to help sustain, if you don't have, I say usually 6 months savings,
Okay.
then you better be ready to work a full-time job and do this full-time, because I don't hire part-time.
Okay.
It's too frustrating. If I've had a couple part-time agents and then they're busy with their other job, they can't answer their phone. It's just one of my youngest agents, and she does my social media. That's why it's just incredible. She had a full-time job, worked this full-time, and a mom of 4, but she could do it. And I knew she could do it when I interviewed her and met with her. And her goal, so she started with me a year ago this past April, and her goal was to be able to quit her job by December of 2026. And she left her full-time job January of
Nice.
25.
So
it's just a go-getter, though. You have to be able to identify that. But you also have to you have to be real with people, because people think this is a get rich quick business, and it's hustle and grind, and 7 days a week, and sometimes there are no off buttons, and you just work.
okay.
Yeah,
Good.
people have a tough time with that who don't have current structure responsibilities. To be a mom of that many kids full time working, that's like, it doesn't sound possible, to be honest with you. It doesn't sound possible, but it is.
It is for her, because she's
It's possible according to what your will. Like, we all had grandparents who worked a full time job, then started a business and had 4 or 6 kids, and they literally, like, they described that first 10 years as, working 6 days a week for 18 to 20 hours a day. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, Lorianne's mom's biggest joke back in the day was they're not sure how BC, Lorianne's younger brother, ever came about, because
my dad worked all the time.
Chuck was never there. He worked. So, and I get it. And one of the things that I'm feeling from you is you have to have the entrepreneurial spirit to get into the real estate world.
You have to, and you have to be disciplined.
Yes.
You have to be disciplined, because
if you're a 9 to 5 clock puncher, it's not going to work.
No. And however, I am not a very good time blocker, but I just naturally know how my day flows. So, and I know that if I am going to be out there meeting clients, it's usually in the afternoon. Like, my listing appointments are usually in the afternoon. And then I have certain times where I meet with one-on-one with each of my agents. And then I have my Monday morning calls, and then I have my leadership call. Like I have certain things in the morning, but to be a certain time blocker and be like this, and this, that's not me. I would never be that way.
But you bring up a solid point, though, too, because, like, Zach, you're like, you have to have the entrepreneurial spirit, not the 9 to 5. Actually, taking a 9 to 5 structure into your entrepreneurial career, business, whatever, will help you structure that too. Like, if you treat it that way, right? Like, it doesn't become a business of freedom until you work it like a job.
Maybe I missed.
And usually that's at least like a 3-year period. I don't care what you're doing, what you're like, plan on it, bet on 100 hours of treating it like a job gets you the result and the outcome.
What I meant is, when I said you're the 9 to 5 clock puncher, you're the one watching the clock, and you're getting a paycheck because you punched that clock.
Right.
That's not going to work.
Different mentality.
One coach once shared with a bunch of us that you have to remember that you are not someone's, the B word, that you can say no. So a lot of times I'll have individuals, and I teach my agents this. You have your child's kindergarten graduation, That's in your schedule. You have an appointment. They don't need to know that appointment is with your child or your spouse or whatever it is. You set that appointment. You do not deviate from your family for a client ever.
Okay.
And if something happens and you have a sick child, we got you. We got you. We're a team of, 6 women. We'll pick up those pieces. You go be with your family, because I have always preached family first. None of my agents have ever taken advantage of that ever. But your family, that's an appointment. You go. You do not put a client before.
And I agree with you on that. We had a guy who remodeled our house, Mike. Every Saturday, it didn't matter what the client needed or whatever. His phone was off because he went to the movies with his wife and grandkids, or he just went and did a date with his wife.
Yeah.
It was it. That was it. And he didn't care. I'd call him and I'd forget it was Saturday, and then I'd get the side eye from somebody, and she'd be like, "It's Saturday, leave him alone." And he'd text me back, "Hey man, I'm in the movie with I'm like, dude, sorry, my bad. I got it. And so I get it. So, okay. Fun question. Most spectacular, biggest house you've sold?
Oh, let's see.
I know Derek loves to ask those questions, but I beat you to it.
We were going deeper.
She has to go, so I'm not going to go too deep.
I have to think about that. I've had, I think, so it wasn't the highest dollar amount. It was, this was probably 4 years ago, and I think we sold for 1.7. But the layout was just everything I would dream of and more. Like it had the most spectacular kitchen. It was the kitchen. It's all about the kitchen for me because I love to cook. So it was just, oh my gosh, it had like built-in refrigerators and freezers and 2 sets and 2 dishwashers and 2 sinks and like a 30-foot island. And then these sliders that opened up to this spectacular backyard. And
that sounds way better than a 3-foot island with a half a refrigerator, Central Florida, for 1.7 million.
I know.
You ought to think about going out to that desert out there, Zach.
I'm telling you. Look, when we went out there that Saturday morning, we went to the art festival.
Yeah.
Before the wedding.
Yeah.
I think I said to Lorraine, didn't I say we could live here?
We could live here.
Oh, it's such a great. You guys should move here. It's a really great town. We love our town.
If I could get out of the swamp,
it's so different. Where we live is very different from most of Arizona. We're in a small town, which it almost has a Midwest feel because it's very green, but we have palm trees. But I don't know, around golf, it's just beautiful.
We found an amazing taco place too.
Oh yeah,
it was so good. And then when you're presenting your client with your services, do most of the clients know you when you're because you're a seller, not a buyer?
Yeah. So it's interesting because one of my agents has been on my team for months. She felt like she was being left out because she wasn't going on listing appointments with me, because Christy, one of my agents, goes on all my appointments with me because she's my stager. I don't do listing presentations anymore. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I've done a listing presentation, because like today, for instance, I got a phone call from a gentleman who was a referral from a probate attorney, and people just refer me. So it's either repeat or referral. And that's like 99% of my business.
Yes.
However, I still have to train the agents what a listing presentation looks like. So we do some role playing, and, so they can see what that's like. And how we set ourselves apart from others is we are kind of a one-stop shop for our clients. So we can provide an organizer to help organize the home. We hire stagers that go into the home. We can have someone box everything up. We refer movers, especially my elderly clients, which I have a lot of those right now because of where my mom is. They refer, and we go into a home. In fact, I have a home going on the market tomorrow, And I've been working with this client since January. So yeah. And it's a lot.
Yes.
So you go into these homes and it's like Hordeville, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
and then I show them pictures, what it looks like, that less is more, and they can't even think to get to that. So then I have to bring people in to assist them.
We had one buy sell where we were with our realtor for about 5 or 6 months because we just couldn't find what we wanted, and it turned into a new build. So it started with come through, let's talk about the fix it things to maximize the value of the sale, and then scheduling all that and agreeing on it, which wasn't a big deal. It just took time. And then rolling into not finding a house, so going into a build. And I would say that was like an April to October, November thing. It wasn't painful though. It wasn't like it wasn't. So like it's sounding like what you were in was a lot of like a time commitment.
Yes. which is fine. But this one, for instance, the mother and father, they were in their 90s. They passed away 12 days apart, and it was a daughter. And so I was dealing with the daughter who was stepping in, and she already had and I was selling 3 of
She
their
knew
property.
everything.
Yeah. And I'm selling 3 of their property. There's a lot of moving pieces. So and then the home needed a lot of, it's on the golf course here, but it's going to be a complete remodel, but we have an appraisal for $1 million on it.
Wow.
So
it's going to
take that right buyer.
Where your mom lives?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That place is cool. I really liked it over there.
Very.
And then, okay. So Lorianne wants to get into real estate, say.
She does not want to do that.
Would you, but if she did, just say she did.
Okay.
Would you say, Lorianne, with your personality, or do you tweak someone by their personality and then go, you'd be a lister or a buyer?
No, I don't. I do both. I don't just hire listing agents. Because we are all about building relationships.
Okay.
And it's all, basically building that trust with your clients, and the people that you surround yourself with is who we do business with.
So, you know how old I am. Do you hire?
Oh gosh, yes.
Would you hire your cousin? Could I send her out to Arizona for
She does not want to be in real estate, but yes.
Does Florida not have ageism like discrimination rule? Are we that
I'm
savage?
just saying, what works better? Obviously, a younger agent, right?
Usually,
why?
Because they're they're not set in their ways.
Derek's never
Right.
met
They're not set in their ways.
Right.
But I'm not opposed to it. I mean, agents I'm the oldest, but I have a couple that aren't that much younger than me.
Do you build
but the most systemic disciplined people are women of a boy, I'm going to get smoked for whatever I say here.
Say a certain age.
Say a mature age.
Yeah, correct. Yes. I mean, I've hired a 65-year-old for a technical estimating position. That was the best. She was the least technical skilled, but she was the most dedicated to learn it and hands-on and in my face for every question. I'm like, this is a dream, because everyone thinks, oh, I'm bugging this person with questions. No, they want that. So you set up a system to empower and take care of it and self-manage yourself. You know, so I think what you're probably saying is, young, they're not set in your ways. You can mold them nicely. They might not have 18 kids with all these bills where it's not a big problem to have a few months, to go through that scarcity to get to that abundance, all those types of things. But I think that everyone has, you have to look for the value in each person separately. And then, is this the value that's the right seat on that bus? Right. And that could be a 70-year-old woman, or it could be a 20-year-old jock, or, whatever, just totally different stages in life and in the business as well.
It also depends on the demographics and what you might be selling too. Also, I bet we had, and I don't say this in a bad way, but in where I work, we had an older woman working with us, and she struggled with a lot of stuff. Number one, the heat was just too much for her. It was just way too much. But I struggle with it. There's days I'm outside and I'm like, I'm going to have a heat stroke today. This is crazy. But okay, so your girls who are underneath you.
Yes.
Do you train them, empower them to move on and start their own location, or do you want to keep them in your fold?
I want to keep them. I'm not a turn and burn.
Okay.
So my structure is fair enough to where they get value and they stay.
So they don't want to go start their own.
They do,
Well, no,
but they
because
can
here
start it
she said
under me.
Some are going to start under her.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right,
they
that's
will
what I mean.
start.
But branch out, but open up more offices with you. Or
Or it could be theirs under, however they want to do it. I will be there to support them.
okay.
It's like just having a master agency or base shop. It's what we do in life
Right.
insurance too.
Exactly.
You have your own agency eventually, with the right amount of business written and the right amount of agents, but you're still, in the master agency that you came under too. It's just like, just like multi-level marketing, Zach, like Quick Start, like all that always gets such a bad name, but that's the right concept because
Well,
that has
all businesses are really multi-level market. They're all pyramids. It's
sure. But it's the right concept too.
Yeah.
It is.
Good. Awesome. Lorianne, did you have any questions? I see your mind work.
You might be at your hard stop.
Well, she said she had an
I
hour
know.
and 10, so that's what I was shooting for.
Yeah, you did a good job. A good job.
Good.
Thank you so
we
much.
so very much appreciate you coming on. We're Lorianne was very excited you were coming on, and actually, to be honest with you, and it's my fault, I should have asked you sooner. And she said, "Why don't you call my cousin Ginny?" And I said, "You know what? I'm gonna." And then you went away, and anyway, you're always you are a world traveler. That's
It
a
is
whole
my
nother show. That's a whole nother
favorite
show.
thing to do, like travel, and that's what we do. We love to travel. That's
We should have
Well, I
gotten
got
into
married.
that. We could get into that for
Did
hours.
you get
Oh,
married,
man.
or was it you had a what was in Belize?
That's why they got married.
Married, right?
we
Yeah.
got married in Belize. No, we just got back from Jamaica.
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah.
Falmouth. Wagwan, brother.
Now we're planning
Okay.
Barbados with the kids, and like we just in Europe and stuff. Like we just love to travel. So
Did you?
I used to say I work hard to play hard. Now
Right.
I work smarter to play harder.
There you go.
Are you when we can get into this in another show, but are you, because I'd love to have you back on.
Thank you.
Are you, when you go on traveling, do you like to travel, or do you like cruises, or a
No
mixture?
cruises.
No cruises.
We are not. We did an Alaskan cruise. My husband's not a cruiser. We don't like to be told we have to be somewhere at a certain time.
Right.
So
I will admit, when
Yeah.
when Chuck and Susie took us for their 50th anniversary on the cruise, it was I'm not a cruiser because I joke I get seasick in a canoe, but we had a blast. It was a good time. It was 3 days. It was long enough.
Yeah.
Now, would I like to do an Alaskan cruise? I've heard
that was
great.
Yes, you would like
Great
to.
thing.
Yes, you would, because we would do it with our kids.
Everybody says do the 14-day
it's
sea and land.
incredible. It was, but we like to. I'll be real quick. But when we travel, like we took the kids to Italy and Sicily for 3 weeks. That was the last big trip with all 6 kids.
Yep.
And I plan locations. So I find the spot, the town, and like our VRBO or our Airbnb or
It's a
hotel.
lot of work.
It is.
Some
And
people would say I like cruises because I don't have to repack my room every 3 days to go to
I
8.
know.
You know what I'm saying? Like they both have their things.
Yeah. And then Chris is
Derek will be the
planes,
cruise person.
trains, automobiles, and boats. So we were like at a location for a week, and we tell the kids, you might have to pack a backpack overnight with a toothbrush. And we did that. So we had a home base for a week, but we went up the Amalfi Coast and got a hotel for.
That's a smart way to do it.
So that just works better for us. So if I want to cook, I can cook all the things. So anyways.
So
Travel.
We did a 3.5 week tour of Italy in late 23. We'll have to compare notes. We have to do a whole show on travel.
Yes,
We've
we
done
did.
all of Italy. We've done so many places. I'll be a guest on travel because I love to travel.
There you go.
There you go. So yeah, so for our 10th anniversary, we were supposed to go to Greece. I was going to take Lorianne to Greece because that's her favorite place in the world that she's never been. And then COVID hit, so we didn't get to go. So we're still going to go one of these days. But
We need to go because it's one of
our new
favorite
goal,
places.
and I don't know, you might not like it, Derek, I don't know, whatever, but our new goal is we want to get an RV and just travel the country.
Do it.
Sweet.
Me, her, and the dog.
There you go.
We'll come out to Arizona and hang out with you.
Right.
Please do. Yes.
We'll be like
come
Christmas
out, come out.
vacation. You'll come out front. We'll be.
Yeah, I don't care.
You'll be just like Cousin Eddie.
Shitter's full.
Well,
Hitter's full.
thank you so much for having me. I
Oh, thank
appreciate it.
you.
I appreciate you guys.
Jenny. I love you.
I love you too, cuz. See you guys later.
See you later.
Hey, Jenny.
Take care. Go sell some houses.
Bye.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
All right, Derek. Another great show.
getting
All right, Lorianne's out. So it's
And then there were two.
And there were two.
We're still going to talk for about 3 more hours on air here.
You're just.
We're going to have a meeting of the minds. We're just getting started. It's an all-night party.
Oh, okay, Daniel. Daniel did a. Well, how long was that show he did on the Trump?
I think it was, well, okay, come on. That was election coverage, so 6
He
hours.
did the election coverage for 6 hours.
Yeah, for sure. That's a themed party here.
All right, we're still recording. I don't know if you want to wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up.
You got to go eat. You get to eat early tonight.
Woohoo!
Holy cow, that's mighty white of me.
I am so blessed. There it goes. Bye-bye.
All right, bro. Well, I didn't get to say goodbye, but folks, Lori can edit out that other garbage when everybody left. But Laura, I'm all confused.
It's all the same.
Thank you guys for watching. It's been another spectacular evening on No Brainer. Thank you. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, become a hater. We've got a hater club. We love it. Derek, go buy some more leads, would you?
Yes, sir.
Not leads. I need leads, actually. No, I need you to buy likes. Leads, likes, whatever.
I'll buy anything.
Until next time, guys, much peace and love.
Peace.